Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Geek Speak Geek podcast. We are your hosts, Movie Master Mike
and Tim Robinson.
We are here to talk about movies and games, and today we're talking about a few different things with the movies and games, and I'm going to be doing some fan casting and see if you like what I've got. So let's get right into the movie news. I've found out that Liev Schreiber, I'm not sure exactly how he... Liev Schreiber? Yeah, he confirms that he's had talks about returning as Sabretooth in the next Wolverine movie.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. I liked him as Sabretooth. I mean, that movie was absolutely terrible. The X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, I tried to watch it. I literally fell asleep. I don't fall asleep during movies, but this one, it had zero... That's the one where they took his powers away, right?
No, that was the Wolverine.
That was the Wolverine?
Yeah, that was one where he goes to Japan.
Okay, I fell asleep during that one.
Yeah, that was a pretty
I didn't like either one, is what I'm saying. But I understand they're going to make the new... They're going to try to make the new Wolverine rated R.
Right.
They've had a lot of success with
Deadpool.
This Deadpool.
Yes.
And I think that's the way to go, because Wolverine's gritty, he's violent, and...
his attributes, his power is healing, but his attributes are adamantium claws that he slices people with, so why not make that more rated R than what they've been doing?
Yeah, because he's such a gritty character.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, why not slice a couple people up,
Yep.
take a shotgun to the gut,
yeah,
and we get to see that heal up, and...
Yeah, well, we saw a little bit of it in X3 when Jean Grey was blasting him away, but it was real.
Yeah.
It wasn't like realistic. You know, you didn't like see like his liver or anything like that. And
see, that
his
would have
guts.
been better.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think.
And everyone,
Wolverine movie, more liver.
Yeah,
100% more liver.
Yeah, more guts. Yeah, yeah. But I think like in X-Men 2, like one of the coolest parts was when Stryker's men were storming the school. Mm-hmm. And Wolverine just goes crazy and like stabs that dude in the chest up against the fridge.
Right through the fridge.
Yeah, like if that was just. If that sequence was just like a little bit more rated R, like you don't need like 300 where there's just blood, like slow CG everywhere, but you know, a little bit more gritty, you know, with the action, with the fact that he has blades that are his weapons, you know, so something a little more, you know, maybe not like I said 300 or Braveheart where he's like lobbing heads off and you see it like in, you know, full detail, but more rated R than what they've been doing.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem I've been having with Hollywood, and I think that this Deadpool movie will try to start that change. But I understand you're trying to make the most money you can, but you don't have to meet everybody at, you know, the minimum age level.
Right.
Like, these are people who have grown up with these comics, and they're now adults.
Yes.
We want adult stories.
Yep.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And so we don't go to an X-Men movie to see, you know, Super Friends.
That's true. And there's been so many adult stories in comics that they could take from.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, like Old Man Logan, that's what everyone wants to see. Hugh Jackman is getting older. You know, they've already established that with his gray hair in the last couple movies. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, he's getting to that age where he can play Old Man Logan. In 2000, there's no way he could have pulled it off. You know, he's just a young man. But you know, now he's at that age. He can play Old Man Logan. They can tell that story and show all the violence and stuff from it. So, I mean, it would be great. I think this Deadpool success is a good thing and a bad thing. Because now it's like, oh, now everything has to be rated R because it was so successful. And it's like...
You have to find that balance.
Yeah. Like, I thought that the tone of Man of Steel was way off for Superman. And that's what they're going on their whole universe with. It's like, I guess, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to strike that balance because... you know, you come off of the wacky Batman movies,
right?
And then Christopher Nolan shows us something new, something incredible and amazing.
Yep.
And it's so hard to emulate that or repeat that.
Yes.
How do you repeat that? Well, we got to go darker, right? Obviously, Nolan went darker, so we have to go darker.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, went darker.
Exactly.
What a terrible movie.
Those movies were fucking awful.
Yes, they are.
Oh, God.
I mean, I like the tone of the second one. With, you know, his suit is better, the colors are better, the cinematography is lighter. It feels and looks more like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man with the lightheartedness.
Right.
But that movie was just so terrible. And like,
it was so terrible.
Yeah.
First off, who was the Hobgoblin character?
Oh, Dane DeHaan?
Yeah. It's like, where the fuck did he come from? Like, he had his best friend in the first movie, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to the sequel, oh, here's my best friend. It's like he was never even mentioned in the first movie.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did he come from?
Yep. Yeah, yeah. And in the first movie, like, it's okay. I can watch it, but like, okay, they're basically remaking Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and checking off everything that Sam Raimi didn't do. Or non-organic web shooters. That's what we'll do. We don't want to do the wrestling things. We'll just do a little image. He falls in a wrestling ring. So, yeah, okay, we can cross that off the list. Like, it has to be dark, like Christopher Nolan, that's dark, you know?
Right.
So it's like they just kind of went off a checklist. Like, everything Sam Raimi didn't do, we can do. And, you know, we can't say with great power comes great responsibility. So to find some, you know, finagled way to say it. And overall, it was just like a boring, bland movie. I didn't like it.
It was so boring and bland that Sally Field actually stood out for me. Like, I was really impressed by Martin Sheen and Sally Field. It was like...
That's funny. And then she did nothing in the second one.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so I think that this whole rated R thing, I mean, Wolverine's one of those characters like, yeah, okay, a rated R movie.
Go
Why
nuts.
not? Yeah,
right.
Yeah, go nuts. But like Batman, like now they're like, you know, Batman's going to be rated R, and this is going to be rated R. The only ones that should be rated R, like Batman doesn't need to be. We've seen that. It doesn't need to be rated R. You know? It's like, you know, when the Joker like sliced that dude's face, like we don't need to see it.
No, we didn't need to see it. It was very effective.
Exactly.
We got the reaction shot of his henchman.
Yeah.
And that was all the information we needed.
Yeah, and we got him like just doing it nonchalantly, like
right. And that was Dark Knight was PG-13, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Or was it R?
No, it wasn't R.
I
don't think any Batman.
And it was super effective. Like,
yeah, you don't need the
R.
R.
We don't need guts. We don't need.
Yeah, but with Wolverine, like that's one of the characters. Yeah, why not? Spawn most definitely needs to be R. You know, characters like that. Deadpool had to be. You know, but Spider-Man, you don't need it.
No.
Superman, Batman, you don't need it. Like you can do those movies without it.
And that's the hard thing about Superman is that's a hard story to tell. But yeah, I don't think it needs to be rated R.
No, I mean Man of Steel wasn't, but they tried. I just don't like the tone and the look of it. It's too
exactly.
I mean, Chris Nolan was involved a little bit, so. I don't know, but next news is the Power Rangers movie that's been in production and going through scripts for years now has kicked off production. The first official synopsis has been revealed. I haven't read the synopsis because it doesn't really matter at this point. You know, I don't care about the movie until we actually get to see a preview. Then we can start speculating about what's going on.
I'm just going to stop it. I don't care about the movie. Can I stop there?
Yes, you can. I mean,
I was never a Power Rangers fan. That whole genre that came out, that Kung Fu Kid show stuff that came out in like the late
Beetleborgs and
oh my god, it started taking over my Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah,
you know,
you're right.
I'm trying to watch
like X-Men and Batman.
Yeah, exactly. And I got the fucking Power Rangers starting to muscle their way in.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching like the first couple seasons. You know, I was a little kid. It was the greatest show ever. You know, but. Right before the movie, the original movie that came out like '96 or whatever came out, they switched 3 of the cast members on the show. The red, the black, and the yellow Rangers were changed to different actors and characters. And then they made the movie. And I remember seeing the movie in theaters and liking it and stuff, but I never watched it again after that.
Right.
Because I didn't care, you know. Once they started changing characters, I was like, this is stupid. But you're right, like the Beetleborgs and what are the other ones? I forget, but there was a bunch
a
of
Ninja Turtles one like a decade later.
Oh yeah, the live action. Yeah, that was like mid '90s. That was with the girl turtle. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. But yeah, that was a bit of news with the Power Rangers. So if you're excited about that, good. If not, oh well.
No, not really. But it's cool. I mean, what's so great about nowadays is they seem to be really fanning out. You know, like. They're spreading out. There's something for everyone.
Oh yeah.
Now, you know,
oh, yeah.
And it'll probably be a decent product. I mean,
probably.
Writing quality has gone up like folds and folds. Like quality is not a problem nowadays. So I'm not excited about the Power Rangers movie, but it'll probably be decent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they can take that silly, ridiculous idea and make it something much cooler than it actually is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Our next bit of news.
It could be rated R.
It could be. I think for a while they wanted it to be like dark and gritty.
Right.
Yeah. So it might be.
Okay.
But next,
Power
Daisy.
Bottom Rangers. No. Okay.
But Daisy Ridley from Star Wars Episode 7 says or promises that Luke Skywalker is so cool in Star Wars Episode 8. Have you seen the teaser for Star Wars Episode 8?
No.
It's literally like just a screenshot of Luke on that island from the end of the movie. Spoilers for episode 7 if you haven't seen it. I mean, everybody has, but...
yeah, if you haven't seen it, you shouldn't be listening to anything. Because you live in a cave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It made a ton of money, so...
Right.
But it's just a shot of him on the island, and then a behind-the-scenes shot of the new director, the guy from Looper, Ryan... I forget his last name.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, him just saying... like, kind of like, that's our first shot for episode 8. It's finally on its way. Like, and that's it. That's the teaser. A behind the scenes look of the director saying, that was our first shot of the day. Which isn't really a teaser. It's just telling us we're underway.
Right.
Which, I mean, because the last 6 Star Wars movie, not including episode 7, came out every 3 years. 77, 80, 83. 99, right. 2002, 2005.
Gotcha.
But now it's going to be every 2 years we get an episode. And every other year in between that, we get an anthology movie.
Right.
So it's going to be every year we get Star Wars, and every other year we get an episode.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I like them continuing the anthology, but I can't stomach the thought of any more prequels. Like, I hear they're going to do a Han origin story.
Yep.
And, like, I guess so, but quit going back to the fucking well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. I feel the same way with like Star Trek. Like after Voyager, let's go back in time for Enterprise, and instead of like after Nemesis, like, well let's keep going into the 24th century, 25th century. Let's go back to Kirk.
Yeah,
it's like,
let's go fucking back in time.
Yeah,
and,
it's why?
I might be at a minority on this, but. We've had so many prequels. All the television shows, all this shit has been prequels. Let's move the story forward.
Yes.
Let's see what we can do with the current universe.
I totally agree. I mean, Star Wars is kind of hard to do because, like, with the episodes, you're telling that story. This is the main story about, whatever it is in the new movie, the Resistance and the First Order. It's like if you do anything else, it's just small peanuts compared to the main story. So it's like going back, you almost have to tell stories that could be fun, but don't bear any real meaning to the main story. So I can kind of see why they're doing that.
I get that, but you can still do things like that. You have shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
You have small pockets in a universe, a wide-ranging universe.
Right. Yeah. The movies are for the big major events. The show is for the little things.
And you can still continue that storyline. You still don't have to go back to the well.
Right.
You can keep moving forward and still tell little personal stories.
Right.
And that's
I totally agree. Because like this year we're getting Rogue One, which to my understanding is between 3 and 4 how the rebels stole the plans to the first Death Star.
Huh.
Which it's like, oh, that's cool. I remember when it was first announced, I saw on Facebook somebody said, many Bothans died to bring you this movie.
Right.
And I was like, no, that's wrong, because the Bothans died to get the second Death Star plans. So this is going back to the first Death Star.
Yeah, but see, we already know how that story ends. So
right, yeah. They hand it off to Princess Leia. The end.
Right.
But, I mean, apparently Darth Vader's probably going to make an appearance in it since he's, they stole it from him or whatever, He's in the command ship that's chasing the plans, so... But, I mean, you're right. Like, why go back? Just move forward. Like, keep it going forward. Like, George should have never went to 1, 2, and 3. He should have immediately, in the 90s, went to 7, 8, and 9.
But I agree with you, but I think those were lessons we had to learn. Like...
Yeah. And just think how crappy 7, 8, and 9 would be if George did it instead of 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I'm glad we are where we are now because The Force Awakens was fucking amazing.
It was great.
That was my second favorite movie last year. Like
we haven't had a chance to talk about that, about Star Wars. I thought it was great. I saw it opening night at midnight.
Nice.
Well, we bought a ticket for like the 12:01 showing. We show up like 10, and there's all these lines, hundreds of people, and we kept asking the employees, she kept going, everyone for this, showing the lineup over here. And so we asked, like, where's the line for 12:01? Like, oh, we haven't formed that yet.
Oh,
it's like, but you already have a line for 12:15.
Right.
Why not 12:01? And then, so we have, a few of us had to leave and go pick somebody up to come back because she was still working. It's like, okay, well, they can just save us some seats. But it turns out that huge group of people was our line. Oh, and the lady just kept lying to us. 3 of us asked her, where's our line? There is no line. But there was. So
she doesn't care. She's just trying to get rid of you. Like,
So none of us could sit together. There was no seats. It was overcrowded. So it's like, let's just get a 12:30 showing.
Uh-huh.
Then we just perfect seats. We were all together.
Nice.
So we had to stay up a little later, but it was worth it. And the movie was great. But don't you feel it was just like, oh, this is just Star Wars again?
Yes. I do feel like that. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
But and that kind of turns on me, saying like, don't go back to the well.
Right.
Like,
because they pretty much just remade A New
arguing
Hope.
against myself. Yeah, they remade A New Hope, but there was still some cool stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean it was awesome. I enjoyed it. Like, I can enjoy Star Trek Into Darkness for what it is. Sure, it's a remake, not as nearly as good as Wrath of Khan.
Right.
They did the role reversal for no reason of Kirk and Spock dying and
right.
all that stuff. Like, but it was still like, I was like, oh, this was a fun, enjoyable movie. I like the actors. I liked the action. J.J. Abrams. I mean, he does nonstop. Boom, 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 action. Like, there's never a chance to sit down and rest. Like,
right.
Everyone's running and stuff. And so I can enjoy just watching. Like, oh, that was a fun little movie.
And really, I think that's my takeaway from Star Wars. Is that it was a fun movie.
Right.
I don't need it to be anything more than that. And that's my problem with the episodes 1, 2, and 3 is they're not fucking fun.
No, they're not.
They're not fun at all.
They're so boring.
They're a dirge and they're boring.
Yeah.
What was refreshing about the new Star Wars, I understand it's, what's the word? They're drawing from that well.
Right.
It's derivative.
Derivative
of the, episode 4. Got to keep my math straight in my head. But it was fun. I mean...
And the characters were cool.
Big stuff set aside. The characters were great.
Yes.
I was invested in Rey. I was invested in... Finn.
Han.
And Finn.
Finn was awesome.
A good-looking man. Now, I'm not gay, but that is a good-looking man.
Yep. Finn or Poe.
Oh, Finn.
Finn?
Yeah. I think I like a little cream in my coffee. All right. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
And that's what the first 3 were missing.
Yes.
I think that's what George missed, like, completely.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Red Letter Media reviews of the prequels, he says, like, let's take a look at this episode 3 shot of Anakin trying to get to the Emperor's chambers because the Jedi are trying to arrest him and possibly kill him, and he doesn't want that to happen. He wants to save the Emperor, or Palpatine at the time, because he has the knowledge to save Padme. So he can't let the Jedi do this. He has to at least keep him alive. So he's going from the Jedi Temple to the Senate as fast as he can. It's like, they're going to arrest him now. Like, I got to stop this. I got to make sure they don't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And he barely briskly walks down the hall.
Right.
But then he does like, now let's take a look at this 2009 Star Trek movie by J.J. Abrams. And Kirk has to get up to the bridge after he comes back from the planet to be like, it's a trap or whatever. And he's running, he's bumping into people and things, and he's tripping and falling, and the music is high, like, and it's exciting. It's like something's happening. Like, he has to get there in time to warn them, and it's exciting.
Yes.
But the prequels were not. It was supposed to be exciting, but he just walked down the hallway.
Right.
So yeah, the prequels were terrible.
No, I get that. There was a lot of that, like, miscommunication of what the story's trying to convey.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. We can pick Star Wars to pieces. Like, I think it's been done a million times.
Oh yeah, a million times.
What else? What else we got?
For movie news, it's really it as exciting news. There's some new production featurette on the new Game of Thrones season. I don't know if you're excited about that. I am.
Yeah. The thing is, I try to stay away from previews, and I'm probably a bad geek because I stay away from previews. I stay away from all the behind the scenes shit because I want to be surprised by everything.
Oh yeah.
I want to be,
non-spoiled.
Yeah, non-spoiled. I just want to be immersed in the subject matter itself. And if you start showing me behind the scenes stuff and all that, it I don't know. It doesn't lose magic, but I don't know. It saps something away from it.
Right.
Like, I'd rather be super hungry when I get to my meal instead of snacking all day and then sit down to my meal and it's like, Right. No, I totally agree. I love behind the scenes. I love the making ofs after I've seen something. Like the special features on DVDs and stuff. Like, exactly. I love that stuff.
I watch the movie, then I'm more excited to watch the behind the scenes because like I love learning how they did it. You know, the writing process, you know, the filming process, you know, all that stuff, like what the actors do in between takes, like all that stuff. I love learning the behind the scenes after I've seen it.
Exactly.
And like the same with previews, like the very first Star Wars Episode 7 teaser, where it was just like the sand, and then John Boyega like comes up, you know, they showed just a few flashes of the stormtroopers, you know, getting ready to attack, and BB-8 rolling along the sand, like just a few little glimpses.
And the shot of the Star Destroyer, wreckage in the desert.
Like that's all you need is Jack. Like you don't need any more previews. Amazing. You don't need you know, like that is the teaser. Then maybe one preview a couple weeks before the movie. But you don't need like, oh, this is preview 2 and preview 3 and preview 4 and preview 5, like showing more and more and more of the movie. It's like, why? Like, just give us a few glimpses. We're excited,
right?
You know.
Yeah, I'm more of a delayed gratification. Yeah. In a way like that. Like,
like I'd rather just see the teaser like a year, because it came out. The first teaser came out December 2014, so it was a year before the movie came out, and then like halfway along the way we get the actual preview. It was like, cool, that's all we need.
Well, yeah, and Facebook people kept posting the new teasers, and I was like, no, I don't know if I can see it because I'm already excited.
Exactly.
You know, I didn't want anything spoiled for that, and not necessarily spoiled. I want to be surprised by everything. You know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd rather be surprised at a movie and enjoy it for what it is and the story it's telling. And like, I mean, you go back to like that Simpsons episode. It's like, I can't believe Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father, and everyone's still in line with him, like, oh, you bomb, like, you spoiled it for everybody. It's like, you don't want to be spoiled. Nobody wants to be spoiled,
right?
You know, like my brother said, Episode 7 is, you know, the best movie that nobody's talking about, because everyone was pretty respectful after December 18th to not spoil anything. Right. You know, nobody was talking about Han and. Exactly. And, you know, Kylo Ren and his connections. Nobody said a thing.
I didn't hear anything about it.
Exactly. So, like, everyone was pretty respectful about it. You know, I think, like, I heard, like, this, like, unwritten rule, like, January 1st, you know, everyone's going to talk about it. Like, we're you know, the
this
whole...
This is your window.
Yeah, the window has closed.
Make it,
like,
but then we can start talking about it.
Yeah.
A moratorium on Star Wars conversations.
Yes. All right, well, that was it for movie announcements. Not a whole lot of very interesting things. A lot of just, here's a new preview for the next episode of Supergirl and things like that. And, you know, nobody cares.
Well, actually, what is it? Are you excited about Cloverfield? 10 Cloverfield Lane and all?
I liked Cloverfield. I'm not a huge found footage guy.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was nice how they'd splice in, like, he's recording over an old tape of them being romancing and stuff. Like, so that was kind of clever, you know? Like, you get to see, like, their development of, you know, who they were when they were dating, you know, while this found footage is going on. It was a clever way I know how to do that. I didn't like how they didn't really show the monster all that much, and then there was, like, the little baby ones and stuff, which, you know, which I guess that's what they're playing more on in this one, is the little ones, not that giant one. But I haven't watched it in a really long time. I'd have to refresh myself.
Right.
Because I think I saw it back in like 2008 or whatever when it came out.
Right.
So, I mean, are you excited about this new one?
I'm so fucking excited.
Really?
I loved Cloverfield. I thought it was, you know, it's not a great filmmaking feat by any means, but it was a fun movie like we're talking about.
Yes.
Like, and T.J. Miller was hilarious. He was a great narrator behind the camera.
Yeah.
Like, and like you said, you know, why is he invested in this character? Why do we care that he's going to rescue her?
Right.
And they inject those little scenes to show us why that's important.
Right, exactly.
Which is a great mechanic.
Yeah.
And I thought the monster was fucking awesome. Only rivaled by the monsters in The Mist.
Oh, The Mist. Oh, yeah.
Like crazy fucking monsters. This is like a Cthulhu, like tentacle covered. And the Pacific Rim monsters are kind of cool, but I think they were a little more Godzilla-like.
Yeah, I was going to say the Godzilla kaiju's or whatever.
Right. I think I lean more towards the Cthulhu, like fucking tentacles, just and that is something I hadn't seen before. Was that giant creepy monster? Usually expecting like a Godzilla or King Kong or something. This guy just like. His legs bend the wrong way, and he's got tentacles hanging out of his face. And the parasites are babies that are just falling off and are fucking scary.
Yeah. I remember that. It was a subway scene, right?
Yeah.
In the dark. Yeah, that was cool.
And then she gets bit by one, and you get to see the reaction. Like, she starts spitting up blood. I thought it was super effective.
Mm-hmm.
And the preview just got me stoked. It's very mysterious, very dark.
Yeah, I love John Goodman, especially when he's being, like,
right.
super creepy. Not even, like, creepy, but, like, menacing.
Yes.
Yeah, like, that's cool. I love that.
What's that Coen Brothers movie?
Big Lebowski?
No.
Oh.
There's another one with him in it.
I can't think of it.
Edit this.
But yeah,
I can't remember what it is.
I love John Goodman. But like, when I saw the preview, you know, I was like, wow, that looks pretty cool. Like, something's possessing these people in this bunker, like making them go crazy, stir crazy, and want to kill each other. But then it said like 10 Cloverfield Lane. I was like, is that a sequel to Cloverfield? And what I've read is it wasn't supposed to be. They filmed this little movie, or they were about to start filming or something. Like, it was already, like, you know, in the stages of being made. And then they're like, oh, let's slap Cloverfield onto this movie, you know, to give it that, you know, that J.J. Abrams, like, draw, you know, from something that J.J. Abrams has done previously. Like, let's put his name on it and stuff. And he probably threw a bunch of money at it,
right?
You know, and gave it the okay, yeah, you can use Cloverfield. And that's what I read, is that it wasn't intended to be a Cloverfield movie, and then they made it into one. Much like before we recorded, we were talking about Die Hard.
Right.
Die Hard 3 wasn't supposed to be Die Hard 3. It was called Simon Says.
Oh,
and that's why I kept saying, like, you know, on the phone he called himself Simon and stuff. It was a script called Simon Says. Like, oh, we can adapt this into a Die Hard movie.
A great Die Hard movie.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of what happened. Like, they're like, oh, let's take this idea and make it Cloverfield movie.
Okay. Well, that works.
Yeah.
And that kind of, and Barton Fink is the name of the movie I was thinking
of. Okay.
If you want to see John Goodman being menacing,
yeah.
Barton fucking Fink. If you like Coen Brothers, watch it. But yeah, I guess that kind of matches with the preview, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, what's going on? Oh, it's just this weird, you know, post-apocalyptic Cloverfield. Oh, shit.
Yeah, like, okay. Yeah. So that was Cloverfield, huh? All right, well, that's it for movie news. I mean, there's some movies coming out. Batman v Superman. Mm-hmm. That's coming pretty quick. Like, real quick. It's in the next couple of weeks.
26th?
Something like that. Yeah, so that's less than a month away.
Right.
Yeah, I think it looks absolutely stupid.
You think it looks absolutely stupid?
I think the Batman v Superman stuff could be cool. Because that one preview where it shows Batman rolling up, or Bruce Wayne rolling up, and they're kind of just sizing each other up. Like,
right.
You know, he's like, oh, you know, people in Gotham don't like freaks dressed as clowns. Like, he obviously knows he's Superman. You know, he's a freak dressed as a clown. You know, and alludes to the Joker. Like, I like that stuff. So I think the Batman v Superman stuff could be cool. But once they team up to fight Doomsday, no, I think it's going to be stupid. With Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Flash and everybody thrown in there for no reason.
Oh, they got the whole Justice League in there?
Yeah, well, I mean, Wonder Woman, she's in the previews.
Right.
You know, she's been cast. We've seen pictures and stuff. So we know she's in it.
The fucking guy from Game of Thrones is going to be Aquaman, right?
Yes.
Dothraki.
Yes. Jason Momoa.
Yep, that guy.
Yeah, I've got his autograph.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I saw him at Phoenix Comic Con last summer.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I liked, did you ever see Bullet to the Head?
No.
He was a very menacing villain in that movie.
Did you see Conan?
Yes. It was utterly forgettable.
Yes. It was just like Conan the Destroyer, just kind of a bland, forgettable fantasy movie. Conan the Barbarian, the original one with Arnold, epic movie. Love it.
Right.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Just like, it's like super duper widescreen. Like, if you could have a screen that's just like 5 inches tall but like 60 inches wide, like that's what it was meant for. Like, because it's just so epic, and like almost nothing is said for long periods of time. Arnold says 4 words to the girl that he falls in love with the whole movie. 4 words.
Right.
You're not a guard. That's all he says to her. He doesn't say a single word to her the rest of the movie, but it's just so good. But the second one was kind of just, oh, that's just a fantasy movie, no big deal. And same with this remake. It was just a fantasy movie, no big deal.
The second one, wasn't there like a fucking...
a claymation, like, rhino creature? Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. Specifically being really, really bad.
It had that skinny DJ girl. In the 80s, she was like a DJ. Like a disc jockey.
Yeah. Or
something like that, or a dancer or something. And she was this chick with the spear that joined his team that he saved. She was a really skinny black girl.
Yeah, you're talking about Jones. Oh fuck! I know who you're talking about. She was in James Bond movie. I think it was a License to Kill.
Yes, she was in one of those. I forget which one. Yeah, one of the two Andy Dalton ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton. That's a football player. But yeah, I think the movie, once Batman v Superman team up, I think it's going to be just the stupidest thing in the world.
Yeah, you think it'll fall apart there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not super stoked.
Yeah.
I think I'm more stoked for Suicide Squad.
I think everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody is. I mean, because it's the first time we've seen Harley Quinn on screen. The Joker does look pretty sick and twisted. You know, there's a scene of him in this newest preview where he's like laughing, like rolling around on the ground with like just weapons like guns and knives and like crazy like spiral designs around him.
Yeah.
It's like that's cool. That's a cool image,
Right.
but it looks like a fun movie. It looks, you know, Batman makes an appearance, and so it could be cool.
Yeah.
But
super stoked.
Yeah. Other upcoming movies that I'm stoked for: Civil War. I'm stoked for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, Black Panther is making an appearance. Ant-Man's going to be in it. I enjoyed Ant-Man. So
that movie was amazing.
Yeah, I liked it.
I had to convince people to watch that movie. They're like, oh, I don't get it. It's a guy, he gets as small as an ant. I'm like, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Just trust me.
Yeah, it was basically the beats of the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know, like it had like, you know, a smart guy makes a suit, doesn't want his bald ex-business partner to get the suit, but the guy makes his own suit anyway, and then the two suits have to fight.
Right.
It's basically the same, but it was in a fun way. I liked it a lot.
Should be the new series, like Suit Fight 3.
Which
suit will win?
Yep. And the Yellow Jacket suit looked awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really like the arms, but the actual suit itself and like the mask, I thought looked really cool.
Well, what was really cool, I thought, was like the tiny lasers. And they're in the
right above
helicopter.
The suit? Oh yeah. They were shooting out of the briefcase.
Yeah, and they start shooting the guys. It's like, oh my god, those little lasers are like killing these guys.
Yep, yeah. I thought it was really cool how even in ant size he like could still punch you, like, you know, and it would hurt like he was actually.
He has a mass of a regular human being.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. A lot of cool visuals where he would like grow big, flip a guy over his shoulder, then disappear, went small and stuff. Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. A lot of people were saying that if the original director from what's his name?
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, that guy.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright.
If he would have stuck on, it would have been like 50 times better because they got the other guy, and he's just he did Yes Man or Jim Carrey. So people are saying like, yeah, he's just a Yes Man. Marvel wanted a Yes Man, and they got the Yes Man. So,
you know,
I think for a while there, Marvel was like, we're getting like actual directors who have vision to be our directors. Now we're getting directors who have made decent movies, but they'll do exactly what we say.
Right.
So I think they've kind of digressed in that direction, but, you know.
I don't know. I think it's working. I mean, who directed the last Captain America movie?
The Russo brothers. But they mostly did TV.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
I don't know anything about the Russo brothers, but that movie was fantastic.
Yes, it was. That's why I'm so excited for Civil War. Not because it's a clash of all the superheroes. It's an Avengers movie. Because I think first and foremost, it will be a Captain America movie.
Right.
Featuring the Avengers.
The Avengers.
So that's why I'm so excited about it. It's not an Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's Captain America first. So that's why I'm so excited for that. But I think between that and Doctor Strange, I'm really looking forward to.
See, I haven't heard anything about Doctor Strange except it's going to be
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch, right?
Yeah. They've shown just a few set photos, like the photo of from inside of his house, the Sanctum Sanctorum, out to the city, like through that cool window. That's like the only set photo we have.
You have Doctor Strange people, and you have guys like me who know nothing about Doctor Strange.
I mean, I don't know too much about him.
Into Doctor Strange, I didn't. But I had, like 25% of my friends that read comic books super into Doctor Strange. Mm. It's just I don't get it, but that is cool. I'm sure it'll be a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, I love fantasy. Like I love Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, all that stuff. So this is, it's magic. It's basically fantasy. He's a magician, and all that stuff. So I'm excited for that. Is actually throwing magic into the mix and mysticism and all that stuff. I don't know too much about him. I know, his house is the Sanctum Sanctorum. He was a surgeon. He hurt his hands.
Right.
He goes to seek, what can I do with my life? Because I was basically Tony Stark of the surgeon world.
Right.
And then he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, and he becomes, awesome. But other than that, I don't really know too much about him. I know the gist. I don't know any stories. I know his bad guy is Dormammu. He's a big flame guy from another dimension. That's all I know.
Well, I see what you're saying, because that's really exciting stuff for me is when those Marvel movies go otherworldly. Like all the Asgardian stuff and the otherworld stuff they did in Dark World.
Yeah.
The other races and planets and...
like the rock creature and the dark elves and
the fucking dark elves.
Yeah.
Those were great.
Yeah, and
just
the movie was kind of generic, but it was the look and the ideas of everything were really cool.
Yeah, it was exactly.
Yep. Yeah. So
the visuals of that movie.
Yeah, the visuals,
set designs, everything, costumes.
Yep. Except for his poncho that he wore half of the movie.
Yeah.
But I like out of all the Thor suits, because he gets a different one every movie.
Right.
This one was the best. I think he might have used basically the same one for Avengers 2, except without the chainmail sleeves.
Right, no sleeves.
Yeah, but because
I showed him guns.
Yeah, but his hair was longer, so it looked better. He looked more, like a Viking, I guess. Mm-hmm. And like his outfit had like that medieval like skirt, looking thing, like that Roman esque skirt, and it makes the outfit look more medieval, less superhero. And I really liked it. So,
I like that.
Yeah, so I thought, like you said, the production values are really good on that movie.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Doctor Strange.
I can see that angle on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting. And they took Thor and made it technology. Like, this is just talking technology that you don't understand, but it's technology to us. So I hope they don't go that route with Doctor Strange. Like, it needs to be magic.
Right.
I mean, DC's going right out the gate. Aliens with Superman. It was an alien invasion movie.
Right.
And then and terraforming the planet, and then with Suicide Squad, you have what's her face, magic. She's like a dark witch in the mix. So it's like they're not DC's not afraid to do the alien and stuff like that. I mean, Marvel did the alien invasion movie with Avengers,
right?
So, but it was more technology. It's just people from another world that have technology. But I'm hoping they go magic, because I mean, how else are you going to do Doctor Strange without magic?
It's got to be magic.
Yeah, right? I mean, I guess the stones they've kind of established as magical stones. Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see.
Exciting.
Yeah. All right, moving into our movie discussion. We've talked a lot about a lot of movies, but
I think we've done a lot.
We actually set out to talk about this one movie, right? And you got to pick it, so take it away.
So we picked this week Dope. Dope is available on Netflix, and it was just super fun. Like. Is a really kind of out of the box, thinking wise, outside the box. Mm-hmm. What is it? It's a caper movie. It's a character movie. It's kind
of like a teenager coming of age
film. Yeah. But it's done in a really unique way. It's really kind of poppy and
kind of edgy.
Yeah. It's electric, not electric, but kinetic. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of. There's a lot of energy behind all the scenes. Like, they're all going somewhere. The dialogue is very crisp.
Yeah, it was a well written movie.
Yes, definitely well written.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing the previews for it, and I was confused.
Right.
Because, like, looking around, like, some of the characters didn't look like the 90s, but obviously the main three characters did, with his flat top, the gear he was wearing, and stuff like that. And so I was like, because I'm not huge into rap. I'm not really a rap fan, into the whole hip-hop scene. So, So I was like, is this, because, again, last year, along with Dope, we had Straight Outta Compton, which was the telling of
NWA.
The NWA, exactly, how they got started and everything. So I was like, is this one of those movies? Because in the previews, like I want to reiterate, my name is Malcolm whatever, and he was in a band. So I was like, is this about like an actual musician from the 90s, like hip-hop artist? And it wasn't.
Absolutely not.
It was actually based in today's society. He was just obsessed with the 90s hip-hop culture.
Right.
Which was cool. It didn't really have any bearing on the movie that he was into the 90s. They mentioned it a few times, but that was really it.
Right. But that's one thing I liked about that character is it's three characters standing on their own in a world that's completely against them. They're growing up in
Inglewood.
Where was that? Inglewood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the heart of all this black violence and gang violence and drug violence. And I like that they're characters that are standing on their own, they're being their own people.
Yeah.
In an entire world that kind of leads toward that hip hop culture, you know, just getting darker and more gritty.
Yeah, the movie started out not how I expected, but like it wasn't this, you know, this movie about drugs and gangs and violence and stuff. And it didn't really go like super drugs and gangs and violence,
right.
but it went down that road for a little bit, you know, like they didn't make any like major stops, but it kind of became that type of movie, you know, like a light version of that movie, you know.
Right.
Almost.
And here's the thing I think is the point of that is these people, there's no way you're going to avoid those situations living in that world.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's how they stuck to their guns and stayed to who they were while dealing with this crazy situation.
Yes.
This dark situation they find everyone else around
right
in. And what do? They use their own creative attributes to angle the situation so it works for them.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was... The one part I was like, what? Like, that's weird. Was he had this interview with a businessman
mm-hmm.
to try to convince him to write a letter of recommendation to go to Harvard.
Right.
Because that person also went to Harvard.
Right.
And is from Inglewood. So it's like, this guy did it, do your interview with him. Maybe he can, you know, get you in and all that stuff. But he ends up being connected to that world that our main character is trying to avoid.
Right.
And I was like, wow, like, really? Like, that was the one thing that kind of drew me out, was like, even this guy's connected? Like, like it could have been just any other business guy that he had this interview with, but he had to be like not just like, oh, I used to be in gangs. It was like he was the main, like, crust of, like, the story.
The kingpin.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, wow, that's a really big,
leap.
Yeah, like leaving, like, in just almost contrivance.
Yeah.
I mean, it ended up working, and I went with it. But like initially, when like he went to the guy's office, and he realized his initials were the initials of the guy he was supposed to deliver the drugs to, and then he sees the picture of of his kids that he was just hanging out with.
Were just hanging out with.
Yeah. So that I was like, what, really? But then right after that, I just kept going along with it because it was everything up until that point was so well done, and everything after that point was so well done that it really wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
So even my one gripe wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, I thought that played just fine. I didn't have any issue with it. And I like that they turn it around at the end.
Yes.
I won't spoil the end, but like I said, they use their own attributes to...
Yeah, because these three kids, or at least...
Yeah, I'm not doing a very good job of explaining the movie, but yeah, it's three kids they're growing up in Inglewood. They're super into 90s hip-hop culture.
Yes.
So they have like the
flat top.
The flat tops and the neon clothes and
the denim. Everything's made out of pale denim.
So much denim.
Yeah.
High-waisted jeans, all that stuff.
Yep. And everyone kind of makes fun of them. Like the one drug dealer that kind of befriends them. He's like, I see you going around with your flat tops, your MC Hammer pants. Like, they make fun of them. Like, so I'm glad they did that because they would get made fun of.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they stand strong. They know who they are.
Yes.
And they're okay with it. Mm-hmm. And so they get invited to a party that the drug dealer we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. And they get stuck with a bag full of drugs and
a gun.
And then
they need to figure out what to do with it. Do they turn it in, and then this drug dealer will know, like, well, I put the drugs in your bag, you know, and then you gave me up, so now I'm going to come after you. What do we do with it? Do we just leave it on the side of the road? Do we try to get back to him?
Right.
And then they get a strange phone call from somebody that just says, meet me outside school and give it to me.
Right.
And, like, that never, like, after that one chase scene, like, it never really comes back up. Like, who was that guy? Why was he calling the drug dealer? Because it was on the drug dealer's phone.
Right. They were probably the guys who busted the...
You think they were cops?
The drug deal? No, I don't think they were cops. But they... Remember at the party, there was a drug deal going down. two guys walk in.
Oh,
with
that's
the
right.
shotguns.
That's right. Yeah, they start shooting.
They blow the party to pieces.
Mm-hmm, that's why the cops bust in.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
And then Malcolm gets away with the drugs, unbeknownst to him.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's who the strange phone call was. The
Right.
the rival gang, basically.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So now it's making way more sense. That was another thing. I was just like, ooh, like how did they know that he had the drugs? And
Right.
I mean, but they didn't know that he had it because obviously it was the drug dealer Dom's phone that they were calling. So
right.
So yeah. Okay. Way more sense.
Yeah. But super fun movie.
Yeah, the direction was really good. The shots, like after that night of drinking, like, you know, the shot of him like laying down sideways and the camera goes with him as he sits up. You know, there's cool shots like that. And at the end when he's kind of narrating about who he is, it shows him like talking to us, you know, the audience, you know, in different places around Inglewood, like, you know, in the middle of the street, in front of the donut shop, with his band playing behind him, you know, like, so it's cool. Like a lot of like really cool creative things happening.
Yeah, I think it did really well what a lot of movies are trying to do. Movies like Me and Earl and a Dying Girl, and maybe even, well, like super stylistic movies.
Yeah.
And I think it executed that much better than, say, Me and Earl and a Dying Girl. I didn't find that film very effective, but this one...
I never saw it, so...
I'll let you not interject my opinion then.
Okay. Well, yeah, Dope. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool.
We recommend Dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's on Netflix right now. Check it out.
Yeah, I didn't expect that type of movie because I remember seeing previews for it. I thought it looked kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. You know, like, oh, this smart kid. Because I thought it was in the 90s, like in that scene where he's like, do you know what Slippery Slope is? And he kind of just like awkwardly says what it actually is. You know, like I thought it was in the 90s. I was like, but those other kids don't look like they're from the 90s. But he does. Like, so I was confused as to what it was. I wanted to see it, but I never did. So when you said, like, oh, you should watch Dope for this review, I was like, okay, cool. And I did see it on Netflix. I even said to you, I was like, oh, it's on Netflix. So yeah, I can totally watch it. So, yeah, it was really good. I liked it. I mean... one of the producers, the only recognizable name I saw was Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, so I mean that was cool. There were a few familiar faces in the movie. Zoe Kravitz was the love interest character. She wasn't in a whole lot of the movie, but she was always kind of there.
And that's Lenny Kravitz after sex change, right?
No, it's actually his daughter.
Oh, it's his daughter.
Yes, it's actually his daughter. She was in X-Men First Class.
Right.
She was in the Divergent series. And now this, so I mean, she's getting work. You know, I'm not sure if she's the greatest actress.
She was fine.
Yeah, I thought she was fine in the movie. I mean, she's been fine in everything I've seen her in. So a lot of people think like, oh, the daughter of a musician or whatever, or you know, the son of Will Smith. He's no good. He's the son of Will Smith. He's not Will Smith. You know,
right?
So like, you know, but she's fine. I liked her. Yeah,
she was good. I didn't even know it was Zoe Kravitz until you brought it up.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure who that was before you brought it up. But yeah, she's very beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I thought she was a good love interest.
Yep.
She was effective.
Yeah. Yeah, the long, like, beaded hair actually looked good on her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
she probably looks great with a guitar like her father.
Yeah, she probably does look good with a guitar on her.
Yeah.
But what was his name? Rick Fox. He was in the movie for a second for no reason.
Oh, Rick Fox was in the movie?
Rick Fox, he was a former basketball player.
Walking in a hallway and then through a window.
Yeah.
With that $1 million smile.
Yeah. It was funny because, like, seeing him, I was like, is that Rick Fox?
Right.
You know? And then, like, he's just talking to, like, some people saying, like, we actually have some students that have volunteered for the science program. Mm-hmm. And actually, they're, like, cooking drugs. I'm not cooking. They're, like, dividing it.
They're dividing and weighing drugs in this whole lab.
But they just look through the window and he just gives them a smile, like, keep up
Thumbs
the good work.
Yeah. Science.
Yeah. So that was a fun moment. I liked when because they're in a school in Inglewood, they have a metal detector,
and a drug dog.
Yeah, there's a drug dog, and he has to like run around the school, like avoiding all the cops. He's slipping, and I thought that was a fun scene. I liked. He first sets it off, but the security guard, he sees him going there every day. He sees him get bullied all the time because he's a geek.
He sees three nerdy kids just like.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this machine's broken. We're gonna start patting everybody down. Here. I like how he said, like, the machine's broken. We like, put your arms up. We're gonna start patting you down because it didn't work for the geek that he knows doesn't have drugs.
Exactly.
So I was like, that was a cool moment. You know, I like that. So yeah, it was really good, really enjoyable. The soundtrack was really good, even though I don't really like hip hop. I kind of dig the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah,
hip-hop,
there's a small place in my heart for '90s hip hop.
Yeah. So I mean, it was very pleasing to the ear. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I liked it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So.
Anything else to say about Dope?
No, not really.
Yeah. It was a good movie. I liked it. All right, let's move into the fan cast segment. I'm really big into fan casting. I love, like, if they were to make this cartoon into a movie or this video game or remake this movie or whatever, who could you cast today? And I'm big into that. And so today you haven't seen this yet, and so I'm going to show you who I chose for these characters and get your reactions if you like it. If you think that's just the stupidest thing in the world, they could never get that. But I've given myself rules, and I'm doing a TV show today. So my rules were, you can't just get every A-list actor.
Okay.
You can't get The Rock, who's in everything. You can't get Leonardo DiCaprio, who finally won his award last night as of this recording.
Tom Hardy, who was in everything
right,
in 2015.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And he's actually going to be in a TV show. But,
right.
But so was The Rock, but it was like an HBO show about sports. But anyway, so yeah, like people like Tom Hardy, like these big draws.
Right.
They're obviously not going to do an ongoing, like 7-season, TV show.
Gotcha.
So I had to kind of like, I got a few that were like, and maybe at one point in their career they were big names, but now they're kind of older, so they're not, big draws anymore.
Lenny Kravitz.
No, but like what's his name from? He was in The Incredible Hulk. He was in Reservoir Dogs. Tim Roth. Tim Roth, yeah. Like, he started doing Lie to Me, the TV show.
Right.
So it's like, he's not a huge actor anymore. He never really was like a huge actor. But a lot of people go to TV. Even Jennifer Lopez, who's she's never been like the biggest actress, but she's super famous. And now she's just on some cop show. So there's a few on here that, maybe they were big stars. Now they're not. So, but let's get your reactions. And it's Star Trek: The Next Generation. If they were to redo it, and I did this because...
So, The Next Generation today.
If they were to take those characters from The Next Generation and just make that show today. Much
Gotcha.
like the J.J. Abrams remake of Star Trek.
Okay.
But on TV. It's not going to be like a
Gotcha.
movie. So it would be TV. It would be TV budget and all that stuff. And it's because CBS owns the TV rights to Star Trek. Paramount owns the movie rights. So they have announced that they are making a new Star Trek show.
Right.
We don't know if it's going to be Kirk and Company again, if it's going to be a remake of Next Gen, a remake of Voyager or Deep Space, or try to go back to Enterprise for no reason, or if they're going to move forward, if it's going to be Klingon, like everyone's been wanting for 20 years.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. But we don't know what it's going to be, and I figured everyone's remaking everything. Let's remake Next Gen, my favorite show. Probably my favorite TV show ever.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, it is great. So yeah, let's get into it, because we don't know what it's going to be, but I got, as Jean-Luc Picard, Captain Picard, I got Jude Law. He's getting older. He's balding, as we can see in this photo that I have. And in the side-by-side, which I have for us, a side-by-side picture of Jean-Luc Picard and Jude Law. Kind of looks like him. He's British. He's got that accent.
Right. Jude Luke Picard.
Yeah, Jude Luke. There you go. You don't have to change it very much.
No, not even have to. Yeah, why not? He's a good enough actor.
Yeah.
He's
not stiff like Patrick Stewart.
Right. I don't think I've ever seen him do anything like a Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, neither have I. Maybe the narrator from Lemony Snicket, but even that was kind of loose. He kind of laughed as he was narrating stuff. So
a little tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
AI, I guess.
No, he was still kind of quirky in that.
That's true.
He was what was it, like a pimp bot?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Man whore. Robo Man Horror 5000.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, even that. I Heart Huckabee. Was he in that one? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I don't think he was in I.
Yeah, he was. He was the No Mayo guy.
Shit, I remember so little about that movie.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I picked Jude Law because I think he's one of the guys that was kind of a big star in his heyday, but now he's kind of not really.
I'm not saying I don't think he can do it. It's just there's nothing there for me to grasp onto that says Jean-Luc Picard.
You're right. No, you're totally right.
But, yeah. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no to a Jude Law.
Okay. All right, well, next is Commander Riker, and I have Joshua Jackson. You might remember him from Fringe.
Nope.
You might remember him from The Mighty Ducks. Nope. You might remember him from Dawson's Creek.
Nope.
Oh. Wow. Anyway. Joshua Jackson. He was from Mighty Ducks. He was the main kid in the first one. His mom was the one dating Coach.
Well, he looks like Riker.
Yeah, he's got the beard. He's got the hair.
Sold.
All right, cool. I really like Joshua Jackson. I grew up with Mighty Ducks. I never really watched Dawson's Creek, but I know he was in it. I loved Fringe. The first 3 seasons were like awesome. Then it kind of became weird, but so yeah, I think he would be great. I think he could totally do it.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I don't have any of those touchstones to draw from.
All right. Well, next is Dr. Crusher. And another thing, I cast not just Dr. Crusher. I also cast Pulaski. We'll get to her later. But Dr. Crusher, and I have Christina Hendricks, and you might know her from Firefly.
Christina Hendricks.
Oh yeah. Mad Men.
Drive.
Yes, and then I know her mostly from Firefly and the 2 episodes that she was in. So
yeah, I know her definitely from Mad Men. I love that show.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Crusher's name is Gates McFadden.
Yes.
What a name.
Yeah, Gates. Yeah, it's very, very Irish.
Is it?
Yes.
I did not know that. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. Gates McFadden. Yeah.
Gates McFadden. Welcome.
She's going to be at the Phoenix Comic Con this year. I'm super excited to get her.
Cool.
Autograph. Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, I think Christina Hendricks.
She's got the red hair. She's got the right look, and
But in order to do surgery, you have to be able to reach your patient, right? And she's got to go around.
Right, but this is the future. There's
cleavage.
there's not a whole lot of surgery happening.
No,
and I'm sure they could just tilt the table sideways so she can just go in front of her instead of down.
Right.
So
she can go at it like this.
Yeah, from the side. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she
definitely.
She can reach over him, no problem.
Yeah, you know, she I think she works really well in an episodic format, as we've seen with Mad Men. She can really carry a show and her characters. So, yeah, she would be great for Dr. Crusher.
Yeah, I think so, too. And she's not, 25 years old anymore. But she's not, 50 or anything.
No.
But she, she's getting up there in age, so because on the show, Crusher and Picard kind of had a thing.
Exactly.
There, so her and Jude Law, their age gap isn't that big. So I think it would work.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next we have Commander Data, and I have Michael Angarano. I picked this guy because I was looking for people left and right. This one took me the longest.
He looks familiar.
He was in Almost Famous in the year 2000.
Right.
He was in Sky High. He was in The Forbidden Kingdom with Jackie Chan and Jet Li.
That movie was phenomenal.
Yes, it was. I did not expect it because everyone's like, oh, they're Jackie Chan and Jet Li together.
Right.
So I watched it and it wasn't anything what I expected.
No.
Some loser kid from Boston travels to back in time or whatever.
The whole concept is super dumb on paper.
Yeah.
But
it was such a fun movie. The Monkey King, and it was just so weird and off the wall, and but it was so much fun. I really liked it.
Super fun movie.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what he's from, and I figured he's not that old. He was born in 1987. He's actually younger than I am.
Oh, me too.
So, but I figured get somebody semi-young, not 40, but not 20. Get somebody kind of young, and that way he can kind of grow into the role, because Brent Spiner just got fatter and fatter.
Right.
And losing his hair. So if you get somebody who's not a kid, who's already he's an adult, he's almost 30, but he's young enough to where he can grow into the role for 7 years. So that's why I picked this guy. And I've gone back and I've watched some YouTube videos of him in different movies, and he's not bad.
Right.
So, and I think he's got the right look. If we go back to the picture.
No, I can see him as a Data. I haven't seen much of his acting chops. I've seen Almost Famous. I saw, what was it,
Forbidden Kingdom.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a strong sense of his presence, but why not?
Yeah.
He looks the part.
Right. All right, next we have... I changed him to Commander LaForge. I think he was Lieutenant Commander in the show. But I've changed a few things around in the show. But Commander LaForge, and I have...
You promoted him?
Yes. I figure he's in charge of...
Brian has promoted it.
I made him... he's in charge of the engines. So
right.
He's got to be a commander. Anyway, I have Dule Hill. He was on The West Wing, and he was on Psych, which I love him on Psych. He's just so much fun, so funny. He was just in some low budget movie where he's like a drug lord basically, and so he can play anything. He's got the right looks, and I think on the show he's actually put on Geordi's visor on Psych.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he can do it. He's actually done it before. So
yeah, his character comes off. From what I've seen on Psych, is kind of a wacky guy, right? And I feel like Geordi is more of a
straight lace.
Yeah, he's more the straight man to the duo of Data and Geordi.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's always the guy who evens out Data, because Data's got all these weird,
yeah, quirks and stuff.
Ideas about human nature.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. But
I mean, I can see him playing it straight like that, but I feel like Geordi's strength is in his demeanor and his intelligence.
Yeah, I think I've noticed, because I've watched Next Gen so many times. One of the things he says in almost every episode is, "Oh, I can do it, but it's going to take some time."
Right.
He says it all the time. He says it in every episode. And there was one episode where he's like,
"Oh yeah," he's always very consternated. "I can do it.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time." Yeah.
Yeah, but in one episode he's like, "I can do it." He's like, because he's like, well, there was some situation. He's like, there's really nothing I can think of that we can do. So they're going through all these things. He's trying to figure something out. He's not like the main focus. He comes back like towards the end of the episode. They've already figured something else out, but he just hasn't known because they just figured it out. And he's like, "Well, I can do it, but it's going to take 6 years, 7 months, and whatever days to do." So, but I think Julia Hill, he's done drama on The West Wing. Like I said, in this new movie that he just did, it's at Sundance or whatever film festival. He's not playing the wacky silly guy.
Okay.
So I mean, he can do it. He is an actor. So.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
He looks the part.
Yeah.
Throw a visor on that guy, he's spitting image of Geordi.
Yeah, there was actually somebody else I cast before him. His name was Lee Thompson Young. He was on a Disney show called Jet Jackson.
Yeah.
And he was on things here and there and stuff, and he looked so much like him. A rounder face, but just like him. But he sadly committed suicide a few years ago. Damn. So I was like, I can't use him. That sucks. So I went with Julia Hill. But I totally think he can do it, and you don't even need to see his eyes. So, because I think his eyes.
Cover that up with your pinky.
Yep.
Geordi.
All right, next we have Lieutenant Worf, and I have Omari Hardwick. Now this guy.
That's Chris Hardwick's brother, right? Black brother.
This guy's big. He's buff. He was in Kick-Ass. He was in the A-Team. I mean, he fits the bill of being the big buff guy that Worf was. I mean, what's his name? Wasn't really all that big, but he was supposed to be this warrior, So I picked a guy who, he is a warrior. He's huge. This guy is massive, I haven't seen a whole lot that he's been in, but what I have seen him in, he's not bad.
Gosh, yeah, I can't place him. I don't know anything about him. I mean, he looks fine. Who do I see as a Worf? Can't even.
Yeah, and like I said, I put limitations on myself, so I couldn't just be like, "Oh, The Rock, he's big,"
right?
Something like that, or I don't even know who else. But I mean, I guess I could have went Wesley Snipes because he's doing TV now.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's big enough. He's kind of short.
I don't think Wesley Snipes can sell Klingon.
No, I don't think so.
I think
either.
Wesley Snipes is really good at playing Wesley Snipes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. He's got the look. He's got the size. And Worf, all he really says is, we should fire on them. There's a YouTube video. It's of every single time that Worf was shut down by Picard.
Oh yeah.
It's like 15 minutes of Worf saying we should fire on them, or armed phasers, and Picard just going, "No, Worf."
Are they that?
Yeah. It's literally 15 minutes of it. It's hilarious. I mean, that's all he really has to do.
I don't see why not. I don't know the guy very well, but...
I know who I was thinking of. Did you watch Dexter?
Yeah.
I forget his name. The guy in the first couple seasons. The guy that was always on to Dexter. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. The bald
Dokes.
guy.
Dokes. Yeah. He could be him. I could probably change it. I could change it to him. He's a little shorter, but he's got the size. He can be menacing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, and he plays that melodrama really well.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really Worf.
Yeah. So maybe I'll change it to him. I forget. I don't know his name.
Character boiling over.
I don't know his name, but yeah. You know what? Let's change it to him. I'll go with that guy. I forget his name. All right. Next we got Counselor Troy, and I went with Michelle Trachtenberg. Now, she was on Pete and Pete back in the 90s on Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm.
She was Harriet the Spy, which is a Nickelodeon movie.
Right.
She was in the Ice Princess that came out in like 2005. She was like this ice skater. I never saw it, but it's kind of a weird picture of her that I chose. I chose it because she has her hair back, like in the picture I chose of Troy. But
was she in Buffy?
Yes, she was on Buffy.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things was Eurotrip. I love that movie. So I picked her because like she's been a favorite of mine, like my whole life, watching her Pete and stuff, and Buffy.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of her in Buffy.
Yeah.
Sold. Yeah, I think she could definitely play. Counselor Troy.
Yeah, and like I said, I tweaked some things on the show, and her relationship with Riker. It's like, let it go, like, Riker's the guy, he's the Kirk, he goes down and sleeps with the alien girls all the time, so I figured they could maybe, in my idea of the show, have a past, but not have it weigh down on the show, like, every time Riker gets close to girls, like, oh, but what about Troy, and every time Troy gets close, like, but what about Riker, like, I mean, her mom calls it out in the show. They should be swingers,
is what you're saying, right?
Right, yeah, they could like, oh, we used to date, but it's no big deal now. So, that way, Riker is freed up to bang who he wants. And actually, I want to set him up with our next character, who I want to make a bigger part of the show, because she was only on, like, maybe 20 episodes. Lieutenant Ro. Ro Lauren. That was her name.
Right.
I have Allison Scagliotti. She was from Warehouse 13. She's a bit younger than Joshua Jackson. I think there's like 12 years in between them. But she's young, she's thin. I think, based on this picture, she could totally pull off the bridged nose and the earring and look basically like the actress who played... she was Ensign Ro on the show, but...
Did she go to Deep Space Nine?
No, I don't think so. There was an episode where it crossed over with Deep Space Nine. You didn't see of the characters, but it had to do with the struggles of Deep Space Nine with the Cardassians. Mm-hmm. And they wanted her to like infiltrate this rebellion.
The Kardashians?
Yeah. They wanted her to like infiltrate the rebels that are against the Kardashians and be like, no, you need to try to stop them from rebelling because it's going to cause an all-out war that we don't want. And she ended up being, fuck it, I'm joining the rebellion because these are my people and I totally believe in it, and she ended up dying. Which sucks.
Yeah, but I don't remember her at all.
Right, but there was an episode with her and Riker where everyone's minds were wiped. So, everyone on the bridge was like, what's going on? Like, who are we? Like, Worf was like, well, I must be captain because I have this sash that he kind of took over and stuff. And Riker and her were like, I think they ended up sleeping together because they were like, hey, like we're both, yeah. So like, I was like, that would have been a much better relationship than Riker and Troy. So that's what I liked. So I figured after he bangs a bunch of people for the first couple seasons, he hooks up with Ro. So I think that would be nice. And like I said, the age gap is there, but I looked at the original actors, and their age gap was the same, 12 years. Mm-hmm. So, no biggie. And Joshua Jackson looks pretty, younger than he actually is. So.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I don't have a strong feeling about the character or the actress. I don't know them very well, so.
Right. All right, next we have Dr. Pulaski. And I figured instead of replacing one or doing one, not the other, because Pulaski sucked the first half of season 2. I hated her. Data, what's the difference? One is my name, and one is not. Like, you hated her. She was a bitch to Data. She kind of went against the captain a bunch, but by the end of the season, she was like rooting for Data against that game guy who could beat any computer or whatever on this weird video game that they played. Like, she was rooting for Data. She became part of the crew. You liked her by the end. So it kind of sucked to see her go, but I loved Beverly Crusher more, so I was like, I liked seeing her come back. So I figured, in the show, I don't know if you remember, there was always this nurse with Crusher, this Asian nurse. There was an episode where like all these ensigns were like, who's going to get promoted, and she got promoted. So but I figured instead of nurse, you have another doctor. One's chief medical officer, one is the lieutenant medical officer. So I figured keep Pulaski around as not a main character, but she's there instead of that nurse. Mm-hmm. And I got Emily de Raven to play her. She's blonde, she's younger, but she's not 20. Like I said again, I don't want to go with just a bunch of 20-year-olds, make it a teen drama. She's up there in age, but she's from Lost, which I was a big fan of. I don't know if you watched Lost.
No, unfortunately no.
Well, the first 3 seasons were golden.
Yeah.
But she was on that show. She was also in that remake of The Hills Have Eyes. Remember when that came out?
Yes.
Yeah, she was the one that got raped in the RV.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, it took me forever to find a not so young but not so old. Yeah, a good rape scene, but a not so young, not so old blonde actress. You know, and she kind of got the same nose as Pulaski. So.
No, I see it.
But I didn't want to make Pulaski older than Beverly Crusher and be the non-senior officer.
Right.
You know, so I wanted to get her younger. So I got Emily DeRaven.
And then, yeah.
So
just have her and Christina Hendricks in the same shot together would be...
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. All right, next we have Lieutenant Yar. And I figured instead of Worf being the tactical officer and chief of security, he can be tactical officer, and Yar can be chief of security.
All right.
And I picked, she's mostly a voice actress, but Carrie Walgren. She's been in a few things that I've seen her in, and she's not that bad. She's got the right look. You know, she always plays like all these voices of different characters that kick ass. So, you know, get her a few combat training sessions, and she can kick some ass.
What has she been in?
Oh man, now you put me on the spot. And she's played tons of voices. Like here she is on Criminal Minds.
Okay.
I don't think she was a main character, but at least we get to see her acting. For her, Worf, and Riker down on the planet for the away team.
Right.
And she could totally do it.
No, she looks kind of severe. Like you put her in a uniform and get her a phaser.
Yeah.
She'll look ready to rock.
Yep. And here she's on The Wizards of Waverly Place.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's sad.
She's in really good shape too.
Yeah, right? So, let's give her a few kung fu lessons and boom. You got it.
Yeah.
Especially with the short blonde hair like that. Perfect.
Yes.
All right, but next we have Lieutenant O'Brien. And I figured instead of him just standing at the transporter beam for no reason, because anybody can just go and push the button.
Right.
But he could be second in command to Geordi. So he has more of a role, a better role. Like, you know, he's in the engine room with Geordi. And I picked Dominic Monaghan because he's awesome.
Because perfect.
Yeah. He's not Irish. He's English instead of Irish. But, I mean, who cares? I could have picked Billy Boyd, who actually is Irish. But Dominic Monaghan, I love him. You know, he was on Lost. He was on Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. He actually has his own, like, animal show. Like Steve Irwin type show. He goes around the world and, like, finds, like, dangerous animals. And, like, he's like, oh, this is this animal. And this is what it does. And, like, you know, he's gotten, like, scratched and bit by snakes and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But
everything else is child's play.
Yeah, so I mean, I love him as an actor. He seems like a really cool guy to hang out with and stuff.
No, and he's got that rough edge that O'Brien had.
Yeah,
I liked O'Brien because he was a bit of an everyman, a blue collar worker.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So to speak.
Yeah,
and
he wasn't the hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I can definitely see Dominic Monaghan doing that. Very well.
So yeah, that's why I chose him. He was really my only choice. But next we have Guinan, because I loved Guinan on Next Gen. She was awesome. Every time she was on screen, I was like, yeah, Guinan rules.
Very interesting character.
Yeah, I loved how mysterious she was. So, and I picked a Star Trek alum, Alfre Woodard. She was on First Contact. She was the one that was going around with Picard in the ship. She went to the holodeck with him and did the Dick Tracy thing, whatever it was.
Right.
And she was the one that's like, blow up the goddamn ship, Picard! You know, like, she's older now. She looks, you know, kind of not like Whoopi Goldberg, but she looks like she could play that wise, mysterious woman.
No, I've seen her in a ton of stuff.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I figured, like, oh, she's actually been in Star Trek, one of the better Next-Gen movies.
And she's definitely got the chops. I think she has better chops than Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
So yeah, I think she would just be absolutely perfect. All right, next we have.
Agreed.
Okay, we have Ensign Crusher. But
do we have to?
We don't have to. I want to cut. I want to cut him out of the show, but I figured he was on the show long enough to be a cast member. I might as well cast him. So I cast Zachary Gordon. And this guy.
He doesn't look familiar at all.
I know I've seen him in something. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. That's what he's from. Both of them. All three of them. Wow, I mean, three of them? Jeez.
Trifecta.
He was in National Treasure 2.
Oh, yeah, when people talk about the trilogy, they're talking about
Wimpy
Diary
Kid.
of a Wimpy Kid.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean when I was like, the best trilogy ever made.
You're right. You know, the trilogy. The trilogy.
Yep. I know. I think I saw him in some cheesy Christmas movie.
Pete's Christmas?
Yep, that's the one. Pete's Christmas. It's one of those Groundhog's Day Christmas movies. He lives Christmas Day over and over again until he gets it right and makes a miserable day into a good day.
Mm-hmm.
But so I mean, I've seen him act. He's obviously been in a trilogy. He kind of grew up with it, you know. So he's not bad. He's young enough to play Crusher and not be as annoying as Will Wheaton. And I wouldn't have him as, because if you watch season 1 of Next Gen, they always call him like, you know, the boy, the child, you know, like he's like this 10-year-old kid who just happens to be a genius, but he's like 14. You know, they just treat him like he's this little kid. And I think by season 4, which is where he left, he wasn't that bad. It was really seasons 1 and 2 where it's like, oh god, we have to have him on the show.
Right.
But I think seasons 3 and 4, they kind of found what they could do with him. Like,
right.
You know, he's kind of, you know, helming the ship and has his adventures here and there, but he wasn't the biggest part of it. So if you're going to have him on this new show, do it like that. Like, or maybe he is in the academy and he just comes here on shore leave every once in a while.
That makes sense.
Because his mom's there, so he comes to visit his mom.
Yeah, I feel like he was like a way-in for children in the original series.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, not needed. Not needed at all.
Yeah, push him out the airlock. I'm zero invested in the Wesley Crusher role.
Yes, me too. All right, next, because we have O'Brien, we have his wife, Keiko O'Brien.
Right.
And I have Junie Hong, who I read tried to sue IMDb because they put her age. She's older than what she puts on like her resumes.
Oh, yeah?
So now she's not getting as many roles because now everyone's like, oh, you're actually like 53 or however old she is, you know, like oh, we only cast, you know, 25-year-olds.
Right.
So she tried to sue him. I don't think she won.
Is she really that old?
I don't think she's like 50. I think she's like in her 40s. I can't even.
Mark Boone Jr.? No, he should definitely be Keiko O'Brien. I say go with Mark Boone Jr.
Yeah, we could do it. Mark Boone. What has he been in?
He's been in a ton.
Oh,
stuff.
That guy.
He was the clerk in Memento.
Yeah.
That was like double charging the character.
Yeah, he would be like, he was like, I'm just fucking with you, just kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
He was the
Batman
police
Begins,
captain.
Swear to me.
Swear to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he could be Keiko.
Cuddly. It's a future, you know.
Yeah. O'Brien.
Gender roles are abolished. Like.
Yeah,
what does it matter if you want to marry a cuddly guy with a beard?
Dominic Monaghan. I saw an interview, and it was right after David Bowie died. So he had 6 of his nails painted, and Dominic Monaghan's always been kind of flamboyant. Mm-hmm. So yeah, why not go with this guy? You know, make him a gay character. Why not?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, they don't even have gay in the future.
Yeah,
right?
Well, actually, I read that
they're just married.
I read that Geordie was supposed to be gay. And that's why there was never any episodes written with him and women.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that too. So I mean, they wanted a character back in '87 to be gay. There's, you know, didn't go with it for whatever reason. Down
in engineering, bending his ensign over the warp drive. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I had Junie Hong, but
I think we both agree.
Yeah.
She's not right for the role.
No, I think she might be a little too old for Dom anyway. But then, just as an added bonus, I cast Q because he's the only recurring. Well, he's not the only recurring villain, but he's the most memorable recurring villain. And I chose Jim Carrey.
Absolutely.
This was my other kind of big movie star draw to TV because everything he does isn't mainstream successful anymore. You know, like the last thing he did was like Me, Myself, and Irene. That was like really good.
Right.
So.
No, and that role itself speaks to Q.
Oh yeah, I mean,
because he can play both menacing and comical.
Oh yeah.
At the same time, which what Q was like. He had his quips and
he did. I love
jokes, and at the same time, he was there to fuck you up.
Yep.
To put you through.
Yeah, in episode 1 and the very last episode where he's got his robes on and he's the judge.
Right.
You're like, man, this guy sucks. You know, he's a mean guy.
Yes.
But then there's the episodes where like he loses his powers. You know, and then
that's a classic one.
Yeah, and then he gets it back, and he's playing the trumpet as like a mariachi guy. He's like, "I have my powers again!" Like, I love it. He's just so great.
That episode has one of my favorite lines, and it's like he's getting a drink from the bar.
Okay,
he takes a drink, and he goes, "Oh, that's awful." Give me another one.
Yeah. Yep. And they did that again in Generations, the movie with Data, when he has his emotion chip.
Oh, yeah!
So he finally drinks, and he's like, this is revolting! Like, he's like, I'll take another one.
Would you like another?
Yes!
Yes!
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they did that again. But yeah, I mean, John Delancey did it great. And Jim Carrey, we know he can do menacing from the 23, or the number 23. Yeah, that movie was crazy.
The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Yep.
Oh, I'm thinking of, what's his name?
Oh.
But yeah, Jim Carrey can do menacing. Don't
Yeah.
you remember the scene from A Hand That Rocks... What's this guy's name? The
John
guy who
Delancey.
played Q? Yeah, John Delancey.
Yeah.
Do you remember Hand That Rocks the Cradle?
I don't.
He's doing a pelvic exam on the woman, the main character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is kind of the catalyst for the film itself. And he's going to do the pelvic exam. Takes his rubber glove off underneath the blanket to cop a feel. It's pretty disturbing.
But yeah, that was my cast. A few, I might tweak it here and there. Like we said with Keiko and maybe Lieutenant Yar. Everybody else, I think, would do a really good job. Especially my favorite one would be Riker, Crusher, and Guinan. Those are my three favorite ones. I think I just got spot on. And Q.
I agree. That is a show I would watch, sir.
Sweet. Awesome. All right, well, next time I'll do something else, maybe based on a video game.
Excellent.
All right. Well, next we have our board game section, but we kind of just sprung this podcast together at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a board game guy. You're super into board games, and I've played board games a lot. My brother was super into them back like 10 years ago, so I've played tons of board games, just not recently. So
Okay.
I've played a lot of older games, like Puerto Rico is my go-to game.
Not a bad game.
Yeah. So, but like I said, we kind of just sprung this podcast together. Like, hey, let's get together tomorrow, and we didn't have time to prepare for us to both sit down and play a game, and then to talk about it and get the rules straight and how we're going to talk about it. So,
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't do my homework.
Right.
I didn't get my spiel together, and I let everyone down.
it happens.
No, it's unacceptable.
But we will.
Brian, I need you to punish me.
Okay, I will.
All right.
Off the air, though.
Okay.
But we will in the future have a board game section where we talk about the basic rules and dynamics of a game. If it's like a family game, if it's a 2-player game, if it's better with 3 people than 5, all that kind of stuff.
And really what I want to get to the gist of it, what makes game fun?
Right.
Why are you going to enjoy this game?
Yes.
I think, yeah, that's definitely where my heart lies with board games. It's not the competition, it's how much fun you're having with the person across the table from you.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed in a lot of board games the theme, like, if it's like a Roman theme, has nothing to do with the gameplay.
Right.
It's just the packaging that they put it in.
Exactly.
It's really the dynamics of what you do on your turn and all these things. Like there are deck building games. There are
Right, they're all just systems that we put pictures on.
right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, the pictures just make it look prettier. And,
Exactly,
and more
to make
pleasing to the
sense
eye.
out of the systems.
Right.
But-
right.
A great theme can make a game.
Oh
There's-
yeah.
There's a couple super basic Star Wars games that are just fantastic.
Yep.
And one of the main reasons is because it's a Star Wars game.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't love Star Wars?
Right.
As we've talked about earlier, everybody loves Star Wars.
All right.
So, but yeah. I mean, so in the future we will have that. Just real quick, what are some good games maybe just get people started with?
A good game to get someone started with is Love Letter.
Love Letter?
Super
Okay.
easy. There's only 18 cards in the box. You do what the card says. Very easy to play.
Okay.
You mentioned Puerto Rico.
Yes.
This is your favorite game. There's a great card adaptation game
Yes, San
called
Juan.
San Juan.
Yes.
It's very simple to grasp.
Yep. I almost, because just recently I bought Puerto Rico because I like it so much. I almost bought San Juan because it's like Puerto Rico Light,
Exactly.
and I almost bought that, but I was like, no, I like the actual game, like the full on game, the full version.
Yeah,
So I bought the full
But
version.
San Juan's a great two-player game.
Yes, it is. It works well with just 2 people.
Yes.
So yeah, those are some really good games to get started with. I've heard One Night Ultimate Werewolf is like one of the most popular games recently.
That is a great party game.
Yes.
You really don't even need to buy the game, but
Right,
it
that's
helps. It helps to have the knickknacks, the baubles to keep in front of you and play with. But yeah, Ultimate Werewolf is great. It takes the original Werewolf game, instead of going over a series of rounds with Last Man Standing, it's just one round. That's why they call it one night Ultimate
Right.
Werewolf.
Right.
It's just one round. If the werewolves win, they win. If the farmers win, they win, and it's all good fun.
Yeah.
Because mostly, what's great about that game is roles get switched, so sometimes you don't even know who you are. You don't know if you're the werewolf or not.
Nice.
And it's a goofy, fun game.
Yeah, I remember I used to play werewolf, and like the guy who was the werewolf would forget he was the werewolf. So the game was like completely ruined because like when you call it the werewolf, it's like, who is the werewolf? Like the moderator knows, it's like, dude, you were the werewolf. It's like, oh, I was. Like, so you had no idea.
Yeah, and that's what's great about this game is sometimes you don't even know who you are,
Right.
so it doesn't matter.
Right. Cool.
But there's a lot of finagling that goes on, so we'll get into good stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely get into that because I want to start playing more board games. So my girlfriend and I, we want to start going to like board game nights at the local shops
Absolutely.
around town
That's
to start playing.
That's where I learned most of the new games, and support your local board game shop. It's a great place to meet new people and kill an afternoon.
Yeah, that's the great thing about like board games and like card games, because I noticed like Magic the Gathering is still super popular.
Super popular.
Even Yu-Gi-Oh is super popular and stuff.
Pokemon,
Pokemon,
all that stuff.
Yeah, but like the difference between that and like movies you can sit alone in the dark and watch the movie. Even when you go in big groups of people in the theater, ultimately you're sitting alone in the dark watching a movie.
Exactly.
You know, but with board games and card games and stuff, you know, you're playing with other people. You get to have, you're interacting, you get to have fun with other people and laugh, and like, especially things like Werewolf or like you said, Love Letter. There's deduction. Like you can play off people and figure things out, and
you can
stuff
bluff.
like that. Yeah, you can bluff, all kinds of stuff, make the environment fun and stuff. So you're not just sitting alone playing a video game or watching a movie. That's what I love about games. Like, not that like, oh, this game was so awesome. It's like, but I had, like you said, so much fun playing it with all these people.
Right.
So that's what I love about board games. Is it's very interactive.
That's my bread and butter. It's face-to-face contact. You know, video games are great and all, but all the stuff that's done online is so. I find it alienating.
Yes.
Because I'm so bad at video games.
Me too.
You know, I just get slaughtered. But if I'm face to face with someone, if I'm just hanging out, playing a game, it really doesn't matter if I'm losing or not. I'm having fun. I'm learning something new. I'm interacting. I'm making dick jokes. It's just a blast.
Yeah, it is. That's what I've always liked about board games, is that you're actually playing with other people. You get to talk and stuff like that. I remember my brother, when he was really big into it, like playing. I think it was Colossal Arena.
Colossal Arena.
Yeah, and he was like trying to convince the dude next to him, like, you know, you got to choose this character, like, or whatever. I forget. Maybe it wasn't that game, or maybe it was Citadels or something. And you know, but everyone else was like, no, don't listen to him. You know, like, and so the guy ended up like, yeah, I'll choose that character. And my brother ended up winning because the dude was just he listened to him, like, because you can do that. You can interact with each other and have a good time.
Well, that's another thing, is like exploiting your friends' weaknesses. You'll start to learn where they're strong and where they're not.
Yep.
And it makes for great stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great stories. Yep. So
yeah, next week I'll have a board game feature for you.
Yeah, and get more into that specific board game, kind of like what we do with Dope, like, you know, spotlight on that one.
Exactly.
So, but thank you for listening, and joining us next time when we do another movie news, just general kind of things that are happening in the news with movies and stuff like that. Our spotlight on a movie. It doesn't have to be a new movie. It could be an old movie. It could be maybe we could do a double movie where like something you've seen that you really like and I haven't, and something that I've seen that I really like that you haven't.
All right.
Kind of just go into that and things like that. And again, with my Fancasting, because that's just something I love to do, Fancast. So this is my only avenue to put it out there. And then
that was fun.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to a video game one.
Yes, I think I'm going to do Tomb Raider.
Excellent.
I've got Tomb Raider, Batman, the whole Bat family, James Bond. You
going to do Arkham? Or Arkham Asylum?
No, it's just the Bat family. The pictures I use are just drawings of the characters.
Gotcha.
But it's I don't have any villains cast. It's just the Bat family, Batman, Robin, all three Robins.
The villains are the best.
I know. Well, this is one I have done already. I'll work on the villains for a future episode. But I have some of these things done already. I'm working on a Xena one.
Nice.
So which is really hard.
I hear Lucy Lawless is good. You should probably cast her.
I should, yeah. She was on that Spartacus
Battlestar
show.
Galactica. She was very good in Battlestar.
Yeah,
Galactica.
she was on Spartacus. And,
Right.
she was even on a few episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So yeah, she's good. Yeah, she'd make a good Xena.
Yeah. Look into her.
Yeah, I will. That's a good call. She was in Spider-Man 1.
Was she?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, she was, when they were doing like that montage of Spider-Man sucks, he's a menace to this city. She was dressed up like a goth girl smoking a cigarette saying, guy with 8 arms? Sounds hot.
Nice.
Yeah, that was her because obviously Sam Raimi did Xena. So
Right.
Anyway. But yeah, then we'll do that, and then we'll do another spotlight on video or board games. Maybe talk video games because I'm not super into them, but I enjoy some.
Yeah, I enjoy some.
So, anything geek, that was what we'll talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. We are your hosts, Movie Master Mike,
Tim Allinson,
reminding you to speak your geek
balance your geek.
with Geequilibrium.